ain't got no money. I'm broke. I can't eat. Do you ever call just to hear my voice, sis? What are you talking about? And make it snappy. I'm about to push play on the program and I got some Cheerios waiting on me. Are you watching American Barbecue Showdown again? I know Rashid is fine, but girl, that's twice as weird. Hey now, don't be talking about my man. This is not about me or what I'm watching. You called me. What's going on? Okay, I'll hurry up. So you know that little baguette thing that we made last month for my spending? You know what I'm talking about? Your budget, ma'am. Yeah, you see, I don't really care for those. I don't like those at all. Because it's the 11th day of the month and this budget is saying that I can't afford to get my toes done again until November. My toes will have fallen off by then. Every last piggy. I thought you got them done a couple weeks ago after we went to brunch and I dropped you off at the nail shop. That was rough for me, man. That week was hard. The Breonna Taylor verdict came back negative and RBG passed away. Give me that one. I was grieving. It was a lot. Okay, free pass. That was a rough week. But we do need to revisit this budget. And we also need a break from the Parkers. But my toes. You hear that? That's the sound of you not making a pedicure appointment and letting YouTube teach you how to do it yourself. Hey, come on, girl. We can go to the shop together. I'll even let you get hairy this time. You deserve it. You hard-working black woman. And that's the sound of me getting ready to hang up so that I can go watch my program. Quit playing on my phone, girl, especially when my man who ain't my man is about to smoke a brisket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello and good evening to all my ballers, shot callers, and brawlers.
Yeah. It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 3 of We Save with Ave. These are my bad boy glasses. These are my eyebrows. I just got them done. Let's get to it. Nope, can't do it. Anyway, welcome back. How are you guys? It's been a couple weeks. I took a little vacation. It was nice. All right, I know y'all remember the All About the Benjamins music video with Diddy and Lil' Kim and all them. Gee, why was I traveling for my little vacation that I took? It was only a couple days, but it was so well needed. But they had a Yo Hip Hop music video station on the direct TV that came with the flight. And that was the first music video that came on. I had already decided that the name of this season's playlist was going to be all about the budgeting, inspired by that video. So I just thought it was really ironic. And it's also a very ridiculous video. I have a headache every time I watch that video. I'm really excited about this episode. It's very simple, very succinct, but I think it was good for me to see the steps that I take in order to make my own budget on a regular basis. So I'm excited to share it with you all. Thanks for tuning in. It's so interesting because I literally just sat down and told myself near the end of August, okay, girl, you need to get your own budget together. What are you gonna do? So this is kind of the process that I took in order to actually make the budget that I'm now going to be using on a monthly basis. So let's get to it. Now we will talk about my month-over-month findings from August 2020 versus September 2020. So in September, I spent $736 less than I spent in August. $736. And I didn't change much at all. It was pretty crazy. Granted, disclaimer, there are a few abnormalities, a few things that I paid for that I wouldn't usually pay for in September, along with a few things that I usually do have to pay for that I didn't have to. So I went ahead and accounted for that as well, and then calculated what that month for month spending was. Of course, there are going to be abnormalities, certain bills that you have in one month that you don't have in another, unexpected one-time payments, and that's definitely something that came up a lot in September. It's like life knew that I was trying to spend less money and I ended up having to spend more money. But by cutting back on the areas that I was spending too much in, I was still able to save $400. $400. One of the abnormalities from my September spending was that I didn't have to pay a car payment this month. It's a pretty significant difference. I refinanced my car in August, so I didn't have to make my first payment until this month. And so that freed up about $250 that I wouldn't usually have to spend. I'm sure you all are sick of hearing about me at this point, so what are we gonna do? Talk about me more. So, no, but for real, we're gonna talk about where you actually start. People say, my budget, make your budget, check your budget. But if you don't know where to start, you're kind of at a loss. Okay, Avery, that's cool. But how do I get started? Good question, girl. So when it comes to actually making the budget, the first thing that I would encourage you all to do is download the app Personal Capital. If you don't have a smartphone, that's fine. You can do it on the internet, just like anything else. Just personalcapital.com. I would definitely recommend starting here, especially if you ain't watched my last video about analyzing your spending. Personal Capital kind of takes out all the legwork for you and shows you category by category each transaction that you make within any given period. I know that sounds vague, but it really is very, very broad because there are a lot of things you can do. It tracks all of the spending that you do from all of the different accounts that you have, compiles them together, categorizes them for you, allows you to rename any transaction and put it into the right bucket. It is astronomical. I love it. I had no idea that this was a feature. I literally went through highlighting my statements for hours and hours and hours on end just to find out that this was a feature that I've already had in my phone for the last 6 to 8 months. So don't be like me. Be better than me. Get Personal Capital. Start now. This was a really great advice that I got from one of my sorority sisters, Donna, and she actually told me that Personal Capital will consolidate all of your assets, your liabilities, what you owe, your emergency rainy day fund. It kind of tracks for you how you're doing, where you're at. It even sends you alerts and reminders when they know that there are certain things that you haven't done that you should be doing. I literally got an alert from them the other day that said, based on your monthly income, you don't have enough money in your emergency fund. Do you want to talk about that? Yes, I do. But dang, like it's that in depth. I love it. I think it's really cool that it's able to track the spending for you. And then it gives you a report every single month, every 6 months, 90 days, doesn't matter. Whatever you're looking into, they got it. After downloading the Personal Capital app, the next thing I would suggest in terms of creating your budget is pinpointing the areas that you feel like you're doing too much spending in. Not what other people tell you you shouldn't be spending your money on, but if you feel like, hey, I'm spending a little bit too much money on fast food, I really want to cut down on that, you're going to be able to pinpoint it after you actually analyze all the spending that you do on a regular basis, and Personal Capital does that for you. To put myself on the spot, I realized that a lot of the areas that I was spending too much money in would benefit me, one, by saving money, obviously, but two, by also improving my health. A lot of the things that I was spending my money on were unhealthy foods, fast food. Just, it was a lot. Next, we'll touch on scheduling your payments and how that's going to make your spending a little bit easier every single month. I actually talked about this on my social media. Follow me at WeSaveWithAve_ on Instagram and Twitter. We also have a Facebook page as well, just We Save with Ave. I talked about this a little bit today for Money Tip Tuesday, because scheduling your payments for the dates that you actually are getting paid makes a world of difference. It's unrealistic to believe that everybody gets paid on the 15th and the 30th. And everybody's bills should also get paid on the 15th and the 30th. It's not really realistic at all. If you know, hey, I have a lot of bills coming out at the first of the month, I'm going to push a few bills back to the 10th of the month, or maybe the 20th of the month, as long as there are no fees that are incurred. Most bill payments allow you to pick really any day throughout the month to pay your bill, as long as you pay it. They just want their money. That's it. Autopay is your friend. Autopay is your friend. Autopay is your friend. Autopay is your friend. I know that automatic payments, especially for bills, is a little nerve-wracking, because at the end of the day, you never know what's going to come up. Life is life, and who knows what I'm going to have to pay for this month. But a lot of the times we end up paying a lot of extra money in fees because we don't pay our bills on time. We say, oh, I don't want someone to take this money out of my account when I'm not ready. But when they ready to receive the money, you don't pay it. So then you have to pay an extra fee. And that's unnecessary money that you're just throwing down the hole. Next, when it comes to building your budget, now that you've pinpointed a few areas that you really want to do less spending in, make sure that they're really only a few areas. Take 3, maybe 4 things that you want to cut back on, because it's unrealistic to believe that you're just going to cut all of your spending categories in half the very first month that you're making a budget. We want to make sure that we set ourselves up for success and that we're actually going to stay on track. I ultimately made a game plan when it came to those few categories that I knew I wanted to cut back my spending on. The first category was sugary drinks that are non-water. It's just such an unnecessary expense when we go out and about. And y'all see this skin, black don't crack. But if you don't drink water, you're going to dehydrate it and pass out. I don't know. It ain't going to happen to me. So, I already told y'all about my love of fashion. So I realized that it would be beneficial for me to plan 1 or 2 budgeted shopping trips a month, as opposed to just going out on a whim and spending however much money my little heart desires. That wasn't working out. So here we are. I also used to make a smoothie every single morning before I went to work, and I don't know why I did it. It was costing a lot of money. It was causing stress trying to get out of the house every single day. And I decided, you know what, let me just cut that down and see where it goes. Because frozen fruit is very expensive and Avery is very tired in the morning. So Avery needs to sleep and spend less money on frozen mangoes. Now I'm really bougie and I drink tea every morning. Shout out Sakani. And I actually feel fine. The caffeine in it really helps because I'm on my way to work. And I don't go to the grocery store as often, which is where I end up picking up those extra things that I don't need. I know for me, my vice was smoothies. For many of you, I know that vice is coffee. And the morning coffee runs, they just, no pun intended, but they... Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I really cracked myself up. But if you do get coffee every single morning, consider investing in a Keurig or some other automatic coffee maker. I don't know. So when you sit down to allocate how much you're going to be spending in each category, the first thing that I would suggest doing is looking at your total income. If you are employed, A lot of the times we just take that paycheck and say, okay, I get this twice a month. That's how much I'm bringing in. Granted, there are other forms of income that a lot of us have coming in every single month that we may not realize. For me, I get cash back on my credit card. I've been using my credit card a lot more often in order to rack up that cash back. And that ends up really being like another monthly income that I'm able to put towards saving, that I'm able to put towards any other endeavors that I'm working on at the moment. Next, like I mentioned in my previous video, pay your bills first. Determine how much money you need for your bills, because you got to keep the lights on, and then we go from there. I've determined that one of my mini life mantras is to give yourself some grace. It's something that I have to remind myself to do every single day because I can be really hard on myself. When it comes to making this budget, give yourself some grace. There are always going to be unexpected expenses, things that come up, and sometimes we just throw in the towel because you feel like it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna save any money this month because you had to replace something, because something broke, something needs to be updated. All in all, don't give up. Stop right there. I would also suggest when you're in the process of making your budget, determine your emergency fund or your rainy day fund and how much you would like to keep on hand. I know it's customary to keep at least 4 to 5 months of your income in your savings just in case anything like COVID-19 were to occur and maybe you are on leave or you've been furloughed from your job. That's the whole reason that you have the emergency fund in the first place. So if you have more questions about that, we'll definitely touch on it later on, but consider how much you would like to have in your reserves just in case anything happens. I also think it's really important that you determine your overall financial goals for the short term and the long term. When you have financial goals that you're trying to chip away at every single day, I think it makes the budgeting process a lot easier and it makes spending money a little bit easier too. Be proud of yourself. I'm proud of you. You're dope. Don't forget it. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise, okay? Well, that's a wrap. You ain't got to go home, but for real. Next week, Sunday at 7, meet me here. Y'all know the drill. We're actually going to be talking about the whole realm that is fast food. Delivery apps, rewards programs, what you should and should not spend your money on. It's a very broad topic, but I think it's something that's really relevant to us as young people. I think that we've really gotten away from the concept of making meals for ourselves and one another, and with the instant gratification and easy access of all the fast food we have around us, it's just the easy thing to do. Don't forget, Sunday at 7. And never forget, in the words of Anderson .Paak, scared money don't make money, y'all. See you next week.